Here's a polished and engaging early life and education. Vice Admiral Ju Xinchun was born in 1965 in Yidu County, now known as Qingzhou, in Shandong Province, a region long associated with China's military tradition and strong maritime heritage. From an early age, Ju showed a deep interest in both science and disciplining qualities that would guide his future military path. He came of age during a transformative time in Chinese history. The country began to modernize its military and open itself to the outside world. In a rare move for Chinese military officers of his generation, Ju pursued higher education abroad in Europe. He is one of the few senior PLA Navy officers known to have studied overseas, reportedly earning a master's degree in engineering or naval technology, detail that highlights his role as part of a new generation of technically skilled, globally aware leaders within the People's Liberation Army-Navy. This foreign education not only broadened his worldview, but also made him a strong candidate for China's modernization efforts, particularly in naval equipment and international joint operations. Map showing Shandong Province, then zooming into Qingzhou, archival footage of rural China. In the 1960s-70s, stock video of university campuses in Europeado imply international studies low pan over engineering books, technical blueprints, or naval academy training footage, portrait of a young Ju if available, or tasteful recreation. Optional graphic overlay. Born 1965, Yidu County, now Qingzhou, Shandong, China. Studied abroad, master's degree reported. Engineering naval technology, Europe. Here's the naval career rise. Vice Admiral Ju Xinchun after completing his education, Ju Xinchun quickly rose through the ranks of the People's Liberation Army-Navy. His early roles showcased his leadership potential and his technical skill. One of his most notable early assignments was as the captain of a Type 052 destroyer, one of China's most advanced warships at the time. In 2004, Ju participated in a landmark moment for the Chinese Navy, the Sino-French Joint Naval Exercise, one of the earliest examples of China engaging in high-level naval cooperation with Western powers. It was a powerful symbol of China's ambition to become a global maritime power, and Ju was right at the center of it. Over the next decade, Ju continued to climb. He held key leadership roles within the South Sea Fleet, including Director of the Equipment Department in 2015, promoted to Deputy Commander of the South Sea Fleet by 2016. These positions weren't just ceremonial, they placed him in charge of naval modernization, logistics, and combat readiness at a time when China was rapidly expanding its naval capabilities in the South China Sea. His growing influence and experience made him an obvious choice for even more strategic roles. Visual suggestions, footage of Type 052 destroyers cruising at sea, archival footage or photos from Sino-French naval exercises 2004, timeline graphic showing to 2004, Naval Exercise 2015, Equipment Department Director, 2016, Deputy Commander. South Sea Fleet zoomed in map of South China Sea operations, graphic overlay ideas, 2004. Commanded Type 052 destroyer in joint exercise with France 2015 Director. Equipment Department, South Sea Fleet 2016 Deputy Commander. South Sea Fleet, extra detail optional for on-screen text. The South Sea Fleet is headquartered in Zhongyang and oversees operations in the disputed South China Sea. Major flashpoint in U.S.-China relations. Asterisk. Here's the command of Southern Theater Navy Vice Admiral Ju Xinchun. February 2023, Ju Xinchun reached the pinnacle of his naval career. He was promoted to the rank of Vice Admiral and appointed as the commander of the Southern Theater Command Navy, one of China's most strategically vital military positions. The Southern Theater Command is responsible for securing China's interests in the South China Sea, a region rich in natural resources and critical shipping lanes, but also one of the most hotly contested maritime zones in the world. As commander, Ju oversaw everything from combat readiness and fleet modernization to joint operations with air and missile forces. His role was not only military, but deeply political. Every action taken by the Southern Theater Navy carried weight, In China's broader strategy to assert territorial claims over islands and waters disputed by countries like Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia. Ru also played a role in show force exercises designed to deter the United States and its allies. Under his command, the Chinese Navy conducted several high-profile patrols and drills not just as preparation for war, but as a statement of power. He was widely seen as a trusted technocrat, someone with international experience, modern thinking, and the loyalty of both his sailors and Beijing's top leadership, at least for a time. Visual suggestions. Animated map, showing the South China Sea with strategic islands, spratlys, paracels. Footage of Chinese Navy drills, missile launches, or aircraft carrier groups. Visuals of Ju Xinchun in uniform at military briefings or inspections if available. On-screen pop-up quotes about South China Sea tensions or sovereignty claims. Graphic overlays. February 2023, promoted to Vice Admiral appointed commander. Southern Theater Command Navy oversaw South China Sea operations. And joint military drills key role in regional power. Projection and maritime disputes narrative tip. Build dramatic tension by hinting that his rapid rise would soon be followed by a sudden and mysterious fall, setting up the next section of the video. Downfall and purge, but just months after reaching the top. Ju Xinchun's career took a dramatic and unexpected turn. On November 17, 2023, less than a year into his command, Ru was abruptly removed from his position as a delegate to China's National People's Congress, the country's top legislative body. The reason? A vague but ominous accusation. Serious violations of discipline and law. In China's political language, those words are often code for corruption, disloyalty, or abuse of power. No official explanation was given, and Ru suddenly disappeared. From public view, he wasn't the only one. His successor, Admiral Li Pengcheng, was also removed shortly after. Two commanders back-to-back purged within months. The Southern Theater Navy, the very heart of China's maritime strategy, had become a hotspot for political scandal. These events were part of a larger anti-corruption purge within the People's Liberation Army (PLA), orchestrated by President Xi Jinping. Under Xi, dozens of senior officers have been detained, dismissed, or investigated in a sweeping effort to root out corruption and tighten political loyalty in the military ranks. Ru's fall shocked many observers. He had seemed like the model of a modern naval leader, internationally educated, technically skilled, and trusted by the system. But in today's China, even the most powerful can be brought down overnight. Visual suggestions. Footage of China's National People's Congress with Ru's image fading or grayed out. Red stamped under investigation overlay. On his photo, Xi Jinping announcing military anti-corruption measures. Archival news. Chart showing Ru and Li Pengcheng, with arrows to dismissed and timeline of events. Graphic overlays. November 17, 2023, removed from National People's Congress charges, serious violations of discipline and law. Southern Theater Navy, 2 commanders removed in months, part of President Xi's PLA. Anti-corruption campaign * narrative tip. Add suspense with subtle dramatic music and use blurred redacted visuals to evoke secrecy and fear. ** here is the institutional context section for your video on Vice Admiral Ju Xinchun. Designed for this part, pulls back the lens to explain why purges like Ru's happened, not just as personal scandals, but as part of China's evolving military and political structure. ** Ju Xinchun's downfall wasn't just a personal collapse, it was part of a broader pattern inside the Chinese military. Since coming to power, President Xi Jinping has launched the largest anti-corruption campaign in the history of the People's Liberation Army. The message is clear. Loyalty to the Communist Party is just as important, if not more so, than skill or experience. This campaign has reshaped how China's military functions. Dozens of high-ranking officers have been purged, many of them in key roles related to equipment, logistics, and technology, the very areas Ru specialized in. Critics say this creates a culture of fear, Promotions become political gambles. Officers walk a tightrope between showing initiative and staying in line. But the system is also resilient. For every fallen general or admiral, another quickly steps in. China's military command is like musical chairs. When someone is removed, the game continues without pause. In Ru's case, his international background, his technical expertise, and his strategic position in the South China Sea made him both valuable and vulnerable. If he stepped out of line, or simply lost the favor of the top leadership, he could be replaced without explanation. The PLA Navy didn't sink with Ju Xinchun. It kept sailing under new command. But his removal reminds us how closely power, politics, and personal fate are tied in China's armed forces' visual suggestions. Footage of Xi Jinping reviewing troops or giving anti-corruption speeches. A chart showing rising and falling PLA officers over time. A symbolic musical chairs animation with PLA officer silhouettes. Stock visuals of anonymous military documents or redacted reports. Graphic overlays. Xi Jinping's military anti-corruption campaign. Ongoing since 2013, 100 PLA officers investigated or removed key targets, equipment, space program, logistics commanders, systemic risk versus institutional resilience.